Ooh, Bad Larry.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we are reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man number 10, featuring the Enforcers and introducing the Big Man. These guys look like some Texas gangsters, but in New York? This issue was published March of 1964, written by Stan Lee and drawn by Steve Ditko. At this point, you have to wonder where Stan Lee got the ideas for all these characters and villains so quickly, it seems, and these characters are still Spider-Man's main villains today, more than 60 years later. The hook for this issue is we uncover why J.Jonah Jameson truly hates Spider-Man. Let's check it out. The big man has a master plan. He thought of everything. He's making a fool of Spider-Man with his expert cunning and planning. Back at the hideout, the other gang leaders await the big man, jawing at him that they don't like waiting. The big man announces to everyone that he is now in charge of all crime syndicates in the city, and if you got a problem with that, the enforcers will crack your skulls in. What do you think these hardened gangsters are going to say? Okay, sure thing, you're the boss now. No. They put up a fight. The smallest enforcer's name is Fancy Dan. He's quick as a cat. He can't be hit, and he's a black belt in judo. The biggest enforcer is called Ox, obviously. Big and slow, but strong as an ox. Well, you get it. The third enforcer, the man wielding the rodeo rope, is called Montana. Montana is sick with the lasso, and probably the coolest of the enforcers. Who's your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. The big man and his enforcers have taken over. At the hospital, Flash and Liz pay a visit to recovering Aunt May. The doctor says the operation was a success, but now Aunt May needs a blood transfusion. He wants Peter Parker's blood. Peter Parker can't be giving Aunt May his spider blood. It'll be the end for his secret. And Lord knows what it'll do to Aunt May. Imagine the old bird walking on the ceilings. Creepy. Well, apparently my prediction was wrong. Peter Parker does donate his blood, and the hospital didn't find any abnormalities with it. What? How? But Peter Parker believes his powers are blood-based, and he'll be weakened for a while after donating so much of it to Aunt May. Aunt May recovers, and the neighbors, their names are the Abbotts, take Aunt May on a week's vacation down to Florida. What did I tell you last episode? People were just naturally more kind back then in the 60s. The big man has crime running like a well-oiled, organized machine in the city. The big man is on a roll, using helos to steal train cars, and the enforcers keep recruiting new criminals into the operation. Spider-Man sees the cops round up criminal after criminal, but they are too afraid to talk. And as soon as the criminals get locked up, they get bailed out by the big man. Is the big man George Soros? Just kidding. J.Jonah Jameson and his harebrain now think Spider-Man is involved with the big man. J.Jonah Jameson orders his best columnist named Foswell to write another fake hit piece saying Spider-Man is the big man. When will J.Jonah Jameson ever learn? Well, Betty Brant has taken a loan from the big man and hasn't realized she's got to pay the interest. Don't take loans from mobsters, people. The enforcers grab Peter Parker, who they learn is her boyfriend, to rough up to teach Betty Brant a lesson. You better pay on time. After Betty Brant says she'll pay, the enforcers release Peter Parker with a nice shove to the ground. Betty Brant lies to Peter Parker about her loan. Betty Brant really likes Peter Parker and runs off, and Peter Parker takes it the wrong way, of course, that she doesn't like him because she won't tell him the truth. Drama time is over. Peter Parker suits up and is looking for revenge on those enforcers for making him look like a fool in front of his girl even. Spider-Man webs up a lackey, but the small fry won't give up any information. Spider-Man scares the criminal into talking using a fake webbing spider. Ha! Works every time. As Spider-Man swings through the air, he is lassoed. What gives? Spider-Man squares up against the big man and his enforcers. Spider-Man attacks first, landing a clean shot on the Ox and dodging a lasso attack. Fancy Dan is faster than you think. Montana's lasso and the punch puts Spider-Man off balance, allowing a clean blow from the ox. No diddy. Spider-Man starts getting the better of the enforcers, but that blood transfusion from before is sapping his energy. Spider-Man has to leave while he still can, gets his energy back, and fight another day. As Spider-Man catches his breath in the shadows, he sees J.Jonah Jameson strolling by and follows him. Now Spider-Man is starting to think Triple J could be the big man indeed. Peter Parker calls Betty Brant to get some answers about Triple J, but Betty Brant is too emotional. He gets nowhere with her. Betty Brant decides to just skip town without telling anybody. Peter Parker has a plan. He needs to be captured by the enforcers and taken hostage to figure out the identity of the big man. His plan begins by telling everyone at school he knows who the big man is and is going to the cops to collect a reward. The news travels fast. A lowlife tells the big man about Peter Parker. The big man seems to know of Peter Parker. Is Triple J really the big man in disguise? Peter's plan works. He's picked up by the enforcers. The enforcers take Peter Parker to their headquarters just as he planned. Quick change into Spider-Man and he sees there's a whole who's who convention of all the top gangsters convened awaiting new orders from the big man. Spider-Man is thrust into battle and starts mollywopping these criminals. Even though these goofy criminals are clumsy, there's a lot of them and only one of Spider-Man. So our hero must be vigilant and not get too cocky. Spider-Man is in fine form, utilizing his webbing and his spider gifts perfectly to outmaneuver all the attacks. Very impressive. Every attack is being thwarted by Spider-Man. He's too much for these idiots, until Fancy Dan gets him in a judo toss. But Spider-Man sticks to walls and pulls the Uno reverse card on Fancy Dan. Spider-Man alerts the police using his Spider-Man belt projector. The battle ensues while the cops are slow to show up. The big man fails to shoot Spider-Man and makes a break for it. But Spider-Man is too tired from fighting goons and can't catch the big man in time. But the cops arrive and round up everybody, including the enforcers. But there's no sign of the big man. Spider-Man follows J. Jonah Jameson back to the office, sure that he is the big man in disguise. The cops bust in while J. Jonah Jameson and his top columnist, Foswell, are talking about the next story. Spider-Man watches silently as he thinks the cops are going to arrest J. Jonah Jameson. Nope, it's the nerdy columnist, Frederick Foswell, they arrest. The cops found the evidence in Foswell's car. Lifting boots, a disguise, a voice changer. The big man is caught, but J. Jonah Jameson still won't give it up. He wants old Freddy Boy to admit Spider-Man was in cahoots with them. But nope, J. Jonah Jameson will be the laughing stock of the city once more for selling the fake news. We do learn the motivation behind J. Jonah Jameson's pure hatred of Spider-Man. Pure jealousy. J. Jonah Jameson can't never be Spider-Man, so his only goal is to tear him down to his level. We learn Betty Brant has still not contacted Peter Parker and is holed up in a crummy old hotel room crying over Peter Parker. Betty Brant thinks the only one who can help her is Spider-Man. Rich, if she only knew. Stay tuned, folks, as the next series I'm presenting is the full 39-issue story of Inferno. This is a can't-miss series with lots of tie-ins. We're talking X-Men, X-Factor, Avengers, Spider-Man, New Mutants, Excalibur, Daredevil, Cloak and Dagger, Power Pack Kids, and more. Like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode, as this episode is over. Thank you so much. Hit that like button and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.